Hello and welcome to another edition of Parkside Rangers Athletics. This one, a big one. It's the semifinals of the men's soccer GLIAC tournament. She's Hannah Lindsay, I'm Ethan Berch. We'll have the call for Saginaw Valley State and UW Parkside here in Kenosha, Wisconsin. We now welcome you to Wood Road Soccer Field, the beautiful Wood Road Soccer Field. Just a couple days earlier on in the week, this field was filled with snow, but thanks to our ground crew and of course some warmer temperatures here in Kenosha, this field is in perfect condition for playoff soccer. Hannah, a pleasure to be alongside you for the call. One of the bigger games the two of us will have this season and the biggest game so far in 2023 for our Parkside Rangers. Let's talk a little bit about the regular season before we get into the postseason. What did the Parkside Rangers do so well to earn themselves the first seed in the GLIAC?
Well, Ethan, first in the GLIAC for shots on goal, shots in general, most in assists. Edgar Heredia leads the entire GLIAC with assists on the year. The Rangers have the most goals in the year with 31. They are an offensive powerhouse.
You said it yourself, Hannah, this is the most high-powered offense in the GLIAC. So now let's just take a look at the field behind us. Both of us, let's look around for a second. Wood Road Field. This is the only grass field in the GLIAC. This is what we call a true home field advantage. But what does that home field advantage really mean for this team, Hannah?
A lot of people who don't watch a lot of soccer, turf is a lot faster. The game is going to get automatically sped up. Granted, though, we do have a great facilities crew here. We keep our grass nice and short. The ball's still going to be a little fast, especially if it gets a little wet. If we have a little bit of dew on the field, but it's more forgiving. You're going to slip a little more at the same time. The mud's going to give way. It's also better for injuries as well. So we're going to see a lot of physicality on this field coming up on Saturday.
This is the third time, Hannah, that Saginaw Valley State and Parkside will be sharing the pitch this season. Parkside first down Saginaw Valley State 3-1 on the road, and then on the final game of the season, the clinching game for the Rangers, they beat them 3-0, but both games were physical battles. And that's what I think what we're expecting on Saturday. And before we really get into those details, I want to ask you one question. What makes it so hard for a team to beat another team 3 times in the same season?
Well, if you're playing somebody 3 times, you're able to scout them 3 times. You're able to look at what they do well. You start to understand the way that they're going to play against you, and you're able to combat that. So if you're Coach Jason Zitzke, you might throw a little bit of a wrinkle into your offensive attack, possibly put some more time into your defensive third. You're going to want to be a little different and a little out of the box, but you're also taking a risk when doing that because you're not playing your style.
So the Rangers scored 6 goals in those 2 games earlier this season. I mean, obviously, the name of the game is score more goals than the other team, so that's obviously the key. But within that, what are some of the keys for the Rangers heading into battle on Saturday?
The Rangers have to be better on the defensive side of the ball. The goalkeeping position has been a place where the Rangers have kind of struggled a little bit. We saw Pat Connolly come in that Saginaw Valley game at the last game of the season, played extremely well, earned a clean sheet, earned the GLIAC Player of the Week. That's the type of goalkeeping and defensive work that the Rangers have to have in order to be successful. It was probably the best defensive game that they had. They have to continue that momentum coming into this game today.
Hannah, thank you so much. Looking forward to sharing the call with you. For now on the pregame show, I'm going to go have a word with Coach Jason Zitzke and Mike Howell before we get into the action. But folks, stay tuned. The GLIAC semifinals are around the corner. Back here on the Parkside pregame show ahead of the GLIAC semifinals with head coach Jason Zitzke. Coach, thank you so much for taking your time to join me. Now, you've had a couple weeks in between the final regular season game of the season and now the semifinals thanks to the bye as the number 1 seed. How do you think those couple weeks maybe have benefited this team?
Well, I think we had that last week was rough, some tough games, some injuries, some guys kind of wore down. So hopefully we've had time for them to rest, take a couple days off, and get back at it.
Looking back on this season, it was a hectic one nonetheless. Of course, came out at the top in the regular season. Still tons of work to do. But just looking back, what do you think were some of the biggest challenges your team faced in the end?
I would say kind of like the same answer down the stretch. Some tough games, some injuries, people filling in at different positions, and forwards playing in the back, and guys filling in at different spots. They all did a good job. I think the last game got a guy or 2 back. That was very helpful, and I think that was one of the biggest challenges. Everybody goes through that during a long season, a tough league schedule. All the teams were competitive in the league, and I'm sure other people went through the same things, but hopefully it'll be good to get some of those guys back.
You got Saginaw Valley State coming into town on Saturday. What are you expecting from this team? This is the third time you two will share the battlefield.
As long as we've been in the conference and over the last 10 years plus, Saginaw Valley has been the team to beat. They're the gold standard. I think they've got the most championships, have always been and still are a very well-coached team, very good players. They are the defending regular season and tournament champions. I know they had some injuries this year as well, and they're getting some guys back. So, A, it's a playoff game, but B, just playing against Saginaw, that they're going to be up for it, and it's going to be a challenge.
Coach, looking forward to the matchup. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Stick around here on the pregame show. We will continue. As we continue the pregame show here for the men's GLIAC semifinals, I'm joined alongside senior defender Mike Howell. Mike, first, thanks for joining me here on the pregame show and taking your time. But I want to switch this over to a big honor you just received. You are GLIAC Defender of the Year, and of course, you have a spot on the first team. I just want to give you the stage. What does that mean to you?
It means the world to me. Last year I fell short. I made second team all conference, which is still a big award for me. But, a goal of mine was to be a first team and defender of the year this year. And I got to thank my teammates for that. They helped me look good this year. And, we pulled it out, one conference, so that helped a lot as well.
Mike, looking ahead to this team right now, you're in a great spot. You just won the regular season. I believe this is the second time you've been a part of a team that has won the conference. Every team is special in its own way. You look back at last year's team, the team that made it to the Sweet 16, fireworks left and right. But what do you think makes this team so special?
It's got to be the chemistry on and off the field. Anyone can call anyone off the field. On the field, we joke around. We have goofballs all over the team, like Patty and Edgar, just making everyone laugh. There's times for seriousness and there's times for goofing around, and I think we have the perfect mix.
So, big game coming up, Mike, obviously. The semifinals, you've been in big playoff games before. This program has allowed you so many opportunities for that. And now here in your senior year, what is the mindset heading into the semifinals on Saturday?
Approach it as every other game. It's going to be the biggest game of the year. It could be our last game for many of the seniors. Hopefully not. We just got to treat it as our last ever game and go out and give it our all.
Quickly, as a leader on this team, as a captain on this team, what is your message to some of the younger players that maybe haven't played in a big game like this before?
Everyone is needed on Saturday. It depends on it doesn't depend on the minutes. Bench, even if you play a minute, even if you play 90, we're going to need everyone. So it's really a team sport and a team game. So if you don't think you don't matter, that's just false.
So now from a technical aspect, let's dive deep into the game here. What aspect needs to be brilliant for a win on Saturday and a trip to the GLIAC championship?
I'll say it again. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, a clean sheet. We did not lack goals this year. We've scored in every game but one. As long as we keep a clean sheet, I'm sure that the goals will roll in. So,
Mike, once again, congrats on the Defender of the Year award, and best of luck on Saturday. Looking forward to another conversation.
Appreciate it. Thank you.